Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic week so far. I'm Claire, your host, and also your digital marketing specialist here at Chromia. I'm joined today by Guillermo, our head of marketing, and we have an amazing guest this week that I would like to introduce you to and welcome in to the Chromaway team as well. So, joining us today is Philip Hilm. Philip is a former professional poker player who has made a name for himself on the global stage with a stellar run on the 2007 World Series of Poker main event, where he reached the final table and secured a remarkable ninth place finish. Hailing from Denmark, Hilm was known for his just strategic and fearless approach to the game, which earned him a recognition and respect in the poker community. Beyond his achievements at the table, Philip has a competitive nature, sharp analytical skills, and has always been his strengths in maths, especially becoming naturally to him, and then spent years developing social and body language skills, which aided his poker career. Before returning to his programming, passion for programming, besetting psychological factors aside, he also explored the fascinating world of game theory in the role of poker, focusing on optimal bet sizes and frequencies. Then, after his poker career, he researched and programmed game theory models into blockchain and beyond. Today, we'll be discussing how Philip has taken his talent for strategy and quick thinking into tech, where he now thrives as a developer advocate. A blockchain platform, Chromaway, that focuses on enabling decentralized applications with scalability, ease of use, and flexibility in design. In this role, he's passionate about driving the adoption of blockchain, empowering developers, and promoting decentralization. Hilm's unique combination of tech-driven mindset and competitive spirit makes him a dynamic force. That is bringing his expertise to Chromia developer ecosystem. So, Philip, welcome. We're so glad to have you. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you, Claire. I'm doing great. And what a wonderful introduction. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to meet you all. And how are you doing, Claire?
Fantastic. I mean, with the weather changes in London, just trying to make sure that my immune system is up to the mark, because when it comes to these AMAs, I have to be on the ball. But yeah, I just got a bit of a cough, but I'm all good. I'm all good. What about you, Guillermo? How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, and welcome, Philip. It's very exciting to have you here, and yeah, have this opportunity to getting to know you and know more about your background and your interest and your really interesting story. I also wanted to say I really love your shirt. Can you tell us more about that Chromia shirt that you're wearing and you're already representing? So yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I had this custom made because I want to represent Chromia properly, and I really like it, So I got the logo, I had it made, I had it put on a shirt. This is custom made just for me.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And yeah, just for clarification for everyone watching us, we're working on the uh, swag for Chromia, and yeah, we very soon we will have like the shirts for everybody. So yeah, it's on the way. Just just letting everybody know. Yeah, back to you, Claire.
I love it. And yeah, when it comes to merch, I think, and I've seen a few people actually within the team who have made their own t-shirts. So I'm excited to be able to share that with the community. I'm not going to do any spoilers because I've seen some of the mock-ups and it looks fantastic. Okay, but getting into the AMA, seeing as you have had such an amazing and successful career in poker, I mean, I could ask you endless questions because I'm very curious about this side of the world. But when you would be invited to poker nights, I mean, surely at some point maybe you were uninvited, because if you're a professional poker player, you're just gonna wipe everyone out. Did you ever go easy on them?
It doesn't really matter what I do. I want to do the best I can. It applies in every area, in every domain. Also in poker, obviously. I don't go easy on my kids if I play games with them. I may give them a head start so they have an excellent chance of winning, but I enjoy applying myself, doing the best I can in whatever area.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, gosh, there must have been endless decision making when it comes to poker, and having a professional career in that area as well. I can't imagine the high pressure environments that you must have been in. But every decision we make. shaped our future. And I've always thought to myself that if I didn't do like XYZ, or if I didn't get into this career, if I didn't do this job, would have I ever found crypto? It's such a unique industry. Would I have ended up in like a corporate office role somewhere in the city instead, living the life I believed once was the one to strive for? But I truly believe that everyone in crypto, the ones who stay in it for the long haul, especially in whatever capacity that may be, we're not meant to live by the traditional role. I feel like we stand out in that way. We all have a unique way of getting into this industry, and why we stick around too, through every market wave, through the bear and the bull, and even some black swan events is just wild. So it truly shows a strategic and long-term thinking, but also our personalities are also very unique and analytical. So I can recognize that in you. So we're not bound by the corporate leashes that hold us back from evolving and challenging the norm. I see that in Chromia, especially, where we are just we would stand out amongst corporate traditional companies, and especially people in blockchain tech see the world in a way of opportunities, not limitations. So what I'm kind of getting through with this kind of introduction as well, we might not all be risk takers like yourself, but we're definitely not risk averse. So we see challenges to overcome rather than roadblocks. And I know this ties so well with poker. So what I would love to know, if you didn't get into poker, where do you think you'd be right now? What job do you think you would be doing?
So I was always walking a somewhat unconventional path. This standard corporate job, I don't see that I would ever really fit in there. And this is one of the reasons I think that I feel so comfortable being part of Chromia. I really enjoy this. I would probably be in the crypto space or something that's not on the beaten path, something that's a little bit different. Regardless of poker or not poker. I'm really enjoying the whole vibe of crypto and blockchain.
And like when it came to recognizing like the skills that you have in poker, and then obviously going into blockchain, have you found yourself working off of those skills and maybe like to advance your career, like the observance, the hyper vigilant, and just like attention to detail?
I've always created my own path, and that same holds true within blockchain. The reason I came into blockchain is because I started developing algorithms, and those could be applied in blockchain. So that's a way of applying my skills, building things, using my skills in blockchain. I wouldn't say necessarily promoting my career, because I don't see myself as a career person. That's too standard. But I'm always using my skills, definitely.
Right. I do recognize as well. There is this element of risk, and also like when you get into poker, there's always these leaderboards, and I'm recognizing that more and more in like Bybit or other platforms where there is this competitiveness. And even when you go to like the Web3 events, there's always like someone planning like a poker event, and I do feel like it's such a strong element of, and also in the environment of crypto people, like they do love poker. So I'd be interested to know how many full-time crypto traders actually play poker in their spare time as well. Definitely does seem to be a bit of a trend. But tell us a little bit more about your background, because we know you have a deep interest in mathematics and game theory. For those who don't know, could you share a little bit more with us?
Yeah. So the game theory part. Well, first of all, math has always been. I've had a natural inclination for math. I at an early age, I kind of discovered that it comes easy to me, but I need to focus a bit on the social skills, because I don't want to just sit alone in a corner and do equations or algorithms. I want to learn how to socialize, and that was really the thing I needed to develop. Regarding game theory, if you're a poker player, you need to know about basic game theory. Otherwise, I don't think you will be a very successful poker player. But when you're playing, there are these questions that come to mind. When you're winning, you feel like you're on top of the world. Everything you're doing is the right move, the right thing. You know, you have all the answers, right? When you're losing, at first I was unlucky. Yeah, okay, I was unlucky, and then it becomes, Am I doing this right? Am I making the right decisions? You don't really know until you apply game theory. If you in game theory, that was John Nash. He made this famous uh, proof that if there's a two-player game, there is a perfect solution to how you should play the game. That perfect solution is the answer. So when I stopped playing poker, I developed the answer for some of the poker games because I was very, very interested in when are you lucky, when are you unlucky, and what is the answer to some of these questions we were all asking. It took a few years, honestly, of, of research. It was a deep dive. It was a deep dive. That was really what took me into algorithms and programming and later into blockchain.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting when
Yes.
you explain it, because this the idea of playing and winning and losing, and how the feelings and how that affects your psychology. It's interesting, the link that it has to trading, which in a way is very very. I mean, because in a way, our when trading, we are our own worst enemy, in the sense of as you said, I do a correct trade and I feel that I'm the smartest guy in the world, and that I'm beating the market. And then when it's the other way around, and I mean, there's a big connection there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what you're describing there is exactly how I got into crypto and blockchain, because I decided to apply these principles to trading, develop algorithms that could be applied in trading. And what better place to apply them than in crypto?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I mean,
Wow,
this is
fantastic.
it's very very interesting. Yeah, I mean, we I feel that we could talk about this during hours, about this game theory thing, especially with this. But yeah, yeah, I mean, we can move on to the next question.
Well, I mean, maybe we can at some point do an AMA just about game theory. Like, I think that would be fantastic.
I mean,
Um,
in previous AMAs, we had a moment where we get philosophical. Probably, I mean, this would be like the perfect, rabbit hole. But yeah, let's probably better not get there, and maybe in the future we can, like, okay, let's do a philosophy focused AMA.
okay, well, let's go down another rabbit hole. What sparked your passion for crypto and blockchain?
It's this crossover combination of different things. I was developing algorithms. I developed this trading algorithm and discovered there are many similarities between the trading algorithm I've developed and DeFi, decentralized exchanges, and things like that. Um, if you go into more traditional asset trading, it's not as uh, let's say easy or free. There are lots of hurdles and obstacles, but the crypto domain, you can trade more freely. There's not as many obstacles, especially if you go into the smart contracts and you develop those yourself. You have a lot more freedom, and yeah, I like the aspects of freedom and not unconventional.
Wow. Yeah. I, so when you got into blockchain, what other kind of roles did you have before coming to Chromia? What is it about Chromia specifically that grabbed your attention?
Um, So if we continue the line from playing poker, then I solved some of the poker games, Nash Equilibrium. I discovered that to solve some of the bigger games, you need to apply artificial intelligence. You cannot just you can't tractably fit the game in a computer, in a computer's memory. It's absolutely impossible. So you need to abstract it somehow, and a way to do that is with AI. So I went into AI research. I became an AI researcher in a company. But I enjoy the social aspect of talking about it and connecting with people. So I became a spokesperson for the company. I did several conferences. I have a TEDx out there on AI, um, and I went into blockchain, applying these principles of trading and smart contracts and algorithms. But the opportunity in Chromia, with Chromia's technology, first of all, which is very interesting, and also the role of being able to connect with people, connect with the community as a developer advocate. That's just what suits me. I think it's absolutely an amazing opportunity.
So you're obviously talented and skillful in everything that you do, whether that's poker, AI, or anything else that you're researching into. We couldn't be happier. Genuinely welcome you onto the Chromia team, and Chromia is developer advocate in the developer onboarding department of Chromia. It's a mouthful, but could you tell us a little bit more about this department and what you do?
Certainly. So I'm in the documentation department, documentation and onboarding, and we're talking about developers. How do we upskill developers? Recently, we've been mapping out the developer journey. When you start as a developer, you don't necessarily have any knowledge specifically about Chromia. It could be other blockchains, or it could be just development in general. What is the journey that you take where you don't know anything about Chromia to becoming an absolute expert? So we've mapped out what steps do you need to take, and it has been. I remember from having joined, I was walking this journey, and to some extent, I'm still walking this journey. So we're documenting how do you become very, very skilled at using Chromia's technologies and Chromia's environment. We're currently rehashing, restructuring the documentation to align with this journey. And we are rewriting some things, restructuring other things, but this is where we are. I think we're making good strides, good progress. That's the goal.
Yeah, it's very interesting because the fact that you are personally going through that journey and looking at it with fresh eyes and newly and getting acquainted with everything related Chromia, it's definitely going to be very, very valuable for the organization. And definitely documentation is one of the key parts of that. I wanted to ask you about that because specifically the status of the documentation of Chromia today, because Chromia has spent a lot of time and resources in trying to document everything on the Chromia technology related to Rail, related to FT4, related to the relational blockchain, and there's been reports about Chromia done by external agencies that they have highlighted how, oh wow, actually Chromia has a lot of documentation. So I wanted to ask you a little bit in deeply, like what do you think is the Chromia documentation status as today, and where is it going in a way?
I think there is a lot of documentation. Most everything is documented quite well, but there is this. Chromia is a company with a huge development. There are so many things happening. There are innovations. There are new features. Everything has to be documented. When I came in, so the challenge was that where do I find it? Because the documentation is something is in the docs, something is in a learning course, something is in the developer hub. It was a little bit scattered. So one of the first priorities is that we are restructuring and making it very focused and easily accessible. This whole path that you don't need to go searching for it. You just have access. We are very close to achieving that goal.
Yeah, like having a clear opening door for developers getting into Chromia basically and providing them everything they need.
Yes, and not just providing them everything they need. I think we have that today. You have everything you need, but you don't necessarily know exactly where that is. This is what we're changing. So everything will be easily accessible, and you will know exactly where to find everything you need.
Yeah, and especially considering, I wanted to highlight about that, how Chromia, it's built from scratch. It is, based on the Alex Mizrahi white paper and some of his innovations that he laid out back in the day. And there are so many unique things, such as the Chromia, the relational blockchain concept in itself, the FT4, the ICMF language, and the modularity. I mean, everything is new and unique, right? I mean, were you able to say like, oh yeah, I know about this, so this is gonna be easy, or everything is being like, okay, this is totally new, and I need to focus on that.
Well, conceptually, it's understandable. All of these names, like you talk about FT4 or the language REL or whatever technology we're talking about, they're solving a particular issue or a particular problem there is. But conceptually, I think that's what really sets Chromia apart. How everything is structured, how the architecture is, and that's relatively easy to grasp. Very different, very unique, but quite accessible.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned about like your passion for like the community and also the social side of things within Web3, and I love that fostering a developer community is one of your focuses in your role as well. How do you go about building and maintaining a vibrant developer community in the blockchain space?
So when you go to our official channels, either on Discord or on Telegram, it's either me or my colleagues that are talking with you, giving you solutions, helping you with whatever challenges you're facing. So I'm regularly involved. Sometimes I write myself. Sometimes I just see what's going on in the community, and we talk about it internally. And I have a plan. I have a vision of. I would love to create a video series where you can see applied this whole developer journey path that we're talking about. I want to take every developer on this journey and show exactly how it's done. I want to use it as a framework where I would like to create a lot of short videos, because Chromia is in fast-paced development. So if anything changes, or if there's something new or something unclear, we can use it to get some feedback. Like, what is your particular what's stopping you right now, and then we can update this part of it. I want to use this video series as a way of communicating and giving easy access to the community.
So I love this actually, because myself and Guillermo have a passion for videos. So when it comes to marketing and the future of Chromia, I love that we're going beyond just typical white papers or like documentation is always so valuable, and we've definitely put an emphasis on that. But going and branching out further to video is just so fascinating, and I'm excited. And I think that is actually a bit of alpha for a lot of people, because creating that content does take a lot of time and a lot of effort, and every detail is definitely considered. So yeah, for everyone who is listening, definitely check out in the near future the video content that is coming. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube as well. We are live there actually right now, but kind of moving forward actually, can you share some of the most essential tools and resources a layer 1 blockchain like Chromia should provide to developers, perhaps like joining the ecosystem for the first time?
Yeah, well, you need to have. I see myself as like as an obstacle remover. You need to have a clear path. If you're joining a community, if you want to learn about Chromia, the environment, the technology, you need to have very clear onset on where do I get this information. That can be in the documentation, that can be in courses, that can be in the videos. But you need to know exactly, where do I go to solve this issue that I would like solved. That's I think that's one of the key things.
And
Amazing.
do you
Yeah,
think
so
that? Yeah, no. Sorry, a follow up question. Do you think? I would say maybe also the one challenge is keeping the information fresh in a way, right? Because with the velocity of development, not only in Chromia but in the whole space, what seems like law today is gonna be like all news in maybe 2 months.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. I think the architecture and the capabilities of Chromia, they are quite fundamental, but there's so much going on. There's so much development that, yeah, you need to put in an effort to keep up. And like Claire was touching upon, you need to have this communication with the community. Really see where are the pain points, and remove as many obstacles as you can all the time. Be available, have the continuous communication.
We've had a strong communication throughout, like from the beginning, even when we've had our community managers and now yourself. It's just incredible to see how the community are just like bonding together so strongly. So yeah, I think it's wonderful, and Chromia is just expanding as well through the heart of the communication. So it's a clear expansion, especially with long-term projects like My Neighbor Alice and Zoob as well, deploying into Chromia. Also like Flomis, Flomis Finance being announced. The ecosystem, with its evident growing nature, what would you say is the role of a developer advocate like yourself in this process? What are you working on to contribute to accelerate the process?
First of all, if you're considering getting onto the Chromia platform and using the technology, you need to understand, what is it that I can do with Chromia that I cannot do in other places? Is this the right fit for my project? I need to understand, is it the right fit? Once you have this understanding, then you need to know how to do it. Then knowing, how do I build my project? This is another part of it. If you're part of an existing project, or if you're a developer considering going on Chromia, you need to understand, how do I build on Chromia?
So from your perspective, what do you think are the most innovative aspects of Chromia technology?
I think there are many things, but the data aspect is absolutely unique. I mean, Ethereum and the EVM, they're great at what they do. If you're talking about verifying transactions, but if you think about storing a gigabyte of data, I don't know how deep pockets you have. You can do this on Chromia. You can store data. You can have related data to whatever your project is. If you're in NFTs, or if you're in real world assets or something, you can store so much more surrounding data, and not just a hash. That's one thing. Another thing is, I think, for the end users, if you are an end user of a project somewhere else, you pay for every transaction that you make. You pay gas. On Chromia, it's free. It's not free. The deployer pays the cost, but it has, I think it has two functions. Number one is free for the end user, or the whatever monetary model is the same as it would be everywhere else, but the transaction is free. Also, is not completely spammed and flooded with shit projects, because you have to be serious about whatever project you want to make. When you look at a project on Chromia, it's been vetted. Like, okay, these guys, they're invested in actually keeping this project live. I think that's a benefit.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, definitely one of the no gas fees, and how this offers the new developers so much options and customizations. I would say that probably as you said, compared to EVM, when building a dApp on Chromia, you have so many options and so many choices to take, that really gives you the option of like, okay, I'm gonna do something that is gonna innovate not only on the code but also in the how users are going to interact with this dApp, right? And which is going to make gives you the option to make to allow people to interact with your dApp without gas, which means that this is for mass adoption. This is huge.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was doing a cross-chain transfer on EVM the other day, and it stopped halfway because I didn't have the gas on one of the chains. You don't run into that on Chromia.
Yeah, or when you have the yeah, exactly, like, okay, I want to, usually it's like take one step forward, two steps back, like, okay, I want to do this, okay, wait, I need to go back and go to the text or the deck, get this on gas money, go back and breathe this, breathe that. So I mean, with Chromia, this is easier for people, for the end user.
Much easier, much easier. I think that's a big thing. It's a big deal.
Yeah, probably that's one of the things that make Chromia unique from other L1s in the market. That these things that we're saying.
Awesome. Okay, so let's discuss a little bit more about what Chromia is recently announcing. So the Chromia recently announced the $20 million fund to foster an ecosystem of AI and data-centric projects. What do you think about this move, and what would you say that the key for Chromia to get into the AI space? Because you do have a strong interest and a strong background in AI.
Definitely, and if we know there's something AI strives on, it's data. AI need massive data, so the synergies between Chromia being data driven, that you can store so much data and you have access to data, I think that's a very good fit, and that there is a wallet of money to actually fund some initiatives. I think this is great. It's a great starting point. Access to data, a wallet for funding, wonderful. I'm really excited to see what comes of it.
I mean, when it comes to storing and also encryption as well, because privacy is always a strong interest in mine, as well as I'm sure everyone within blockchain. And we were just covering an AMA as well, like a couple of weeks ago, where we were discussing our file storage systems. And I encourage everyone to go back and listen to that video. But it is just fascinating to see. How do you think AI plays a role in the file storage?
Oh, this is a good question. You could probably use AI to structure or categorize data. It could help with that, but often it's the other way around, that the data and the files is the one that the AI is learning from. So it goes two ways. You can use AI to structure, categorize, or you can use the data to teach the AI.
That's actually a fascinating way to look at it. But so we try to, especially at Chromia, we try to stand out amongst the crowd. We don't necessarily go along with the trends, but it is always fascinating to see the trends within blockchain. What trends do you see in blockchain development at the moment, and how do you think Chromia fits in?
I think there's a particular one that's quite hot right now. If we're talking real world assets, that's like a hot word in blockchain. If we're talking bonds or real estate or things like that, if you want to put it on chain, you put it on EVM, for instance, it kind of stands alone. You can do it, and you can do the transactions, and the transactions they're safe and they're good. But if you want all the surrounding data, you want to store a contract, you want to put the contract on chain, you want to put the whole structure of how does this work, you can put that on chain. All of these things you can do with Chromia. You can add so much surrounding material and put it all on chain. I think that's really fascinating.
So you're obviously an OG when it comes to the blockchain space. and being in the space for so long, what advice would you give to developers who are just starting out in the blockchain development or considering a transition into this field?
Try it. Definitely try it. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is that you upskill your development skills. You become a better developer. I think there are so many exciting use cases. There's so many things it can be used for, and the aspects, if you're not already a blockchain developer, the aspects of developing in blockchain can teach you some things about transactions, about security, about things that can be useful outside of just blockchain as well. You just become a better developer. If you love blockchain like we do, perfect, you'll fit right in. If you don't, well, okay, you're a better developer.
So it is give it a try, right? Like this is. I mean, Chromia has an important angle of bringing Web3 tools to Web2 industries, and yeah, I mean, as a follow up question or to your answer, what would you say to specifically a hardcore developer that it is used to using SQL or other, for example, like very data focused languages? What would you say? What would you tell them about getting decentralized? Like what would you say? Would you say anything in particular to them?
It's similar, but if you're a hardcore developer and you're already working with data and you're working with databases, you're like 80-90% there. I mean, the bridging the gap to becoming an expert in Chromia's ecosystem is very uh, easy. It's very easy to make that transition. Try it, see the benefits. There are some differences. I mean, this that everything is on chain. It's different than if you're holding the keys and you can change everything whenever you want. There are differences, but I think the putting stuff out there publicly, showing it, I think it has tremendous value.
So I do want to ask an important question, especially to all of the developers listening right now that are considering different layer one projects to build the next, I guess, like groundbreaking or trending app that is going to come up. What do you think the deciding factor is that would encourage them to move to Chromia?
It's quite important. What are the specifications? What are the specifications of whatever you are trying to build? What what needs do you have? What key needs do you have? Because there are aspects of it. I mean, even on Bitcoin, you can make some type of smart contracts, but it doesn't record the state. So it doesn't. You can't really store data on there. I think you can make transactions, but that's about it. On EVM, you can verify transactions very clearly, and it's quite good at that. So if that's your need, yes, do that. If you need something that's data intensive, definitely at least consider Chromia, because the options, the possibilities here, it's just on another level.
Yeah, I have to agree. Is there, I mean, I guess what we can kind of wrap up with a little bit here is there a particular lesson from your poker career that you could find yourself applying regularly to your role in Chromia?
I think not just to my role in Chromia, but to just about everything. You're talking about risk averse or not. When you're playing poker, you're really evaluating exactly that risk reward. What's the risk reward ratio of whatever this decision is? We make a ton of decisions all the time. What path should I take? What should I do? Which decision should I make? It's a risk reward thing. If you can optimize that, and I'm not talking just about monetary, it can be about something like life happiness or other things. If you can optimize the risk reward of your decisions, I think that's a very good skill to have.
What about developing a poker face for your for your interactions with people, and so those moments on live that you are like, okay, stonewall, nobody's gonna know what I'm thinking. I mean, you probably have you used that in your in your life?
It's this thing about developing a poker face. I always find it interesting because it's usually if you are not very deeply knowledgeable about how how the all the tells and the reads. You see people with sunglasses or stuff like that, thinking that their eyes will give them away. No, there are so many other things. There's so much. The sunglasses will absolutely not help you. But yeah, reads and tells, you can use it in all types of situations. It's all about how people function, all the signals. There's so much communication going on that's not necessarily just verbal, but in our body language and in our gestures and in what we do and in our patterns. So much information.
Yeah, I mean, in the poker, there's a saying that you don't play your cards, you play your opponent, and you know, a lot of the times it's not about like what you're holding in your hand, but okay, I know that guy. What I can imagine what he's holding, so I feel that I can take him out just by playing him. I mean, I think it's very very interesting. I'm you know, situations like that, do you think that there are like in life, I mean, probably it can be extrapolated to life, right, like some moments where you really need to be confident and really need to I mean, I don't want to say bluff, but in a way be like, okay, I think I have the upper hand here and I think I'm gonna play it, even though I'm it's what you were saying before, right? Risk and risk management in a way.
Risk reward, yeah, and you're right, and you can apply this reading your opponent and playing your opponent, not the cards. But to be complete, you need all the aspects, because if you're missing, if you're not good at playing the cards, you're only playing the opponent. It will get you so far. If it's the other way around, yeah, it will get you so far. But if you have all of it, you know how to play the cards optimally, but you can also apply how to play your opponent. And you can extrapolate that to other aspects of life. I mean, you can be you can be a good leader, but you don't necessarily know all the aspects of your domain. Maybe you would benefit from knowing more aspects of your domain, or you know all the technical aspects of your domain, but you don't know about leadership and people interaction. You know, you can extrapolate that. Being complete in more areas, that's very useful.
I think so. What would I can't help but think to myself, like, what would it be like to take you to a casino and see you live, like in the moment? For me, I feel like my face just gives away everything. I'm not that good with a poker face. I can't lie for the life of me. But I do have to say, I'd probably crush you at Uno. I would have to say that. But I guess like when hopefully when we're all able to meet up in person, because the whole Chromaway team, like we have like fantastic bases around the world, and being able to meet up with people as well. It would be really cool to kind of see you in your element. But nevertheless, we're all going to be able to see you in the element, in your own element, in Chromia. And we're so excited that you're on board with us. I do want to mention as well to the community that every AMA, of course, we have a giveaway. And this week we have 5 lucky winners that will walk away with $100 in USDT. So if you're listening on Discord, LinkedIn, or YouTube, be sure to head to our Twitter. Now, I want to really reward the people that have been attentive, that have been listening. And this isn't an easy giveaway. So what theory did Philip Hilm really have a heart for? What did he study? If you can share that within the comments, I'll go ahead and see who is the first people to respond with that. And we've got 5 lucky winners. So again, go to our Twitter comments, comment on this specific post, and share with us the theory that Philip Hilm has a heart for. Winners will be sent to you within 72 hours of receiving your wallet address. So make sure to check out your DMs for the winners. So I guess to kind of close up, but Philip, before we do go, I do want to say that it definitely seemed like it has always been in the cards for you to evolve into blockchain tech, and we're also glad that you did. But do you have any final words for our listeners today? Maybe whether that be advice or just something that people can take away from this AMA.
Yeah, well, keep building, keep developing. Development is amazing. Whether you're developing in tech, you're developing personally, development is awesome. Keep developing. And I'm really looking forward to connecting with everyone on an ongoing basis. That's my final word for today.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
it's very cool. I'm also really looking forward to you becoming one of the main faces and one of the main personalities in the Chromia community, especially on the Chromia developer community. And yeah, I mean, we'll see you around. That's for sure.
All right. Thank you again. I was just checking out to see if we've got some community questions. Let me just
there are actually, Claire, there are community questions, but they are asking about like, oh, there's gonna be like a poker tournament in metaverse, and I think there are, with all the conversation, since this AMA has relied very heavily around Philip's background in poker, I think people's asking like, wait, are you promoting some kind of poker dApp, or are we gonna have like a Chromia poker tournament? It's like, no, that's just as a clarification, but yeah, I mean, we can say we can get a question. I find this question that I wanted to ask you, Philip. So far, which one is your Chromia with your favorite Chromia dApp on all the dApps that you've seen in the ecosystem? I mean, there's not a lot of them at the moment, but yeah, which one is the one that caught your eye in terms of the idea or the project or whatever aspect?
I was fascinated by what you can achieve. My neighbor Alice, what this whole multiplayer universe. I'm looking into the tech side of it. So for me, it's like, how does it work under the hood? How are they able to do all these things? How can you store all this information? And you're having ongoing, continuous game data that's interacting with the blockchain. How does this work? I find it very, very fascinating. So that's definitely one of my favorite projects because of this ongoing interaction where you can see the benefits of not paying gas. Because if there was a gas for every transaction, it just wouldn't be feasible.
Yeah, the on-chain logic, the my neighbor Alice being able to store all on-chain or all logic on-chain is probably, with all we've discussed, I mean, it makes sense that it definitely caught your eye. So yeah, good answer. I think if there are probably a lot of my neighbor Alice fans listening that they agree with you.
Amazing. Okay, well, I do want to thank you again, Philip, and also Guillermo joining us today. Don't forget to share this AMA with your friends and followers, all on the latest updates for Chromia's journey. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, join our communities where Philip will be in the community chats as well. And if you're ready to start building with us, head to our website for more information. And today, my name is Claire, and we'll be seeing you again next week for an amazing AMA. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, day, wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you next time. Thank you again, Philip. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. See you.
All right, there we go. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. And yeah, we'll see you next week for a fantastic AMA, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.